You're a midlife woman and you've got 100 different ideas, but you just can't seem to pin down the one that you want to invest your time in and stick with long enough to actually get results and make something happen. Sound familiar? In today's video, I'm going to share with you exactly the steps that you can take to decide what it is that you really want to do, and also to find out what you can stick with and give you the strategy of how you can stick with it. Okay, so if that's you, stick with me. If we haven't met before, hi, my name's Lindsay Desfort and I help midlife women to reinvent themselves and build a fantastic new chapter that they're really excited about. Let's jump right in. So the first thing is, you've probably done all sorts of courses. You've probably seen loads of ideas of people making some success with Canva, an AI book, and KDP, and Amazon selling, and a YouTube channel, and a podcast. The list goes on and on and on, right? And while you could probably do all of them, the fact that you're not doing any of them, but you might even have tried quite a few of them, is really just a sign that you haven't found the thing that you can get really excited about. But it's really easy to not be able to find that thing, because when you're doing so many things and other people have found success with something, it's really easy to think, well, if they can do it, I can do it. You're smart, you're educated, you've got a professional background, you've raised a family of kids. So you can actually do a lot of things. You're super capable. But it's just that pinning down exactly what it is that you're going to stick with, and that actually seems worth your while. That's what we've got to get to the bottom of. So how you start is kind of counterintuitive, okay? So the first thing is, you've got to figure out kind of your overarching goal of why you're even doing this. Like, is it more purpose, more meaning? You want to make a new income? You're just bored and you want a new direction? Or you're fed up with your 9 to 5 and you want to start something new? Figure out what that big kind of quest is. And then from there, what I want you to do is to actually just walk away. And I told you it was counterintuitive, right? Once you've figured out what that is, then just take a break from it. Because otherwise it's so easy to just get sucked in. Just take a break from it. And then when you come back, look at the quest again, figure out what's important about that. And why is it important to you? Not for other people, but just for you. Because if there was ever a good time to really focus in on you and what's important to you, now is the time, okay? So dive into that quest and have a real sort of bit of a dig deep and think about what it is you're doing and why you're doing it. Because unless you're really excited about it and you've got real passion about it, there is no way you're going to stick to it, because it's so easy to be distracted. There are whole philosophies about why it's so hard to stick with anything, certainly if you're not really passionate about it. And being in midlife, it's a unique time because it really makes you take notice of what's important to you and what you want to do and why it's even worth your effort. So tap into that energy, because that's what's going to be like your rocket fuel. That's what makes so many women start a business in their midlife, get into their groove, find their flow, and start finding the success that they never had the time to find when they were raising kids. The thing about starting a new project in midlife is wherever you start is never where you end up. And because of all the lessons you learn along the way, that's what really makes you grow. But that's also the fun of it. So when I started, I've been a life coach for many, many years. And then a few years ago, I did a whole reinvention, moved country, got divorced, etc. And as I did that, I dived into digital marketing. And I bought the course that said, buy the course, sell a course, and, it's an easy way to make money. And as somebody who was reinventing, in theory, that seemed like a really good option. But because I had such a history of life coaching people, I knew I didn't just want to sell somebody else's course. I knew I wanted to have more involvement. I knew I really enjoyed helping people. So I had to cross some of those things off the list. But the reason having all those ideas can actually just make you feel more stuck and not get you into action doing anything, because you start to lose faith in your own ability, you lose trust in what you can follow through on, and also you get so sucked into this really enticing temptation of being able to do a quick fix solution. And I did it, and then was working really hard, spinning my wheels, getting nowhere. And that's when I found that working through the idea of the quest and finding your purpose and, why you wanted to do what you do, that's why it became so much more compelling and important to me. And so here's what I did, which allowed me to get off the hamster wheel, stop failing at things, and stop feeling so rubbish about myself so I can actually move forward. Okay, so number one, I wrote an overarching quest, is what I call it. So my quest was, what was it I wanted to achieve by doing whatever the one of the tabs, one of the courses, one of the ideas was? What was my overall thing? For me, it was about freedom, freedom of time, freedom of money, to not have to answer to anybody else. I just ultimately wanted freedom, which is why this channel is, of course, Midlife Freedom. Podcast is Midlife Freedom, and my Instagram is Midlife Freedom Angel. So I kind of had it fairly ingrained that I wanted freedom out of all of this. And you might know what it is. If your thing is yoga or nutrition, or you're passionate about something, that might be the answer. But then it's the vehicle of how you get that out, and how you spend your time. So whether that is an ebook or a podcast or a YouTube channel or Instagram or KDP on Amazon, or whether you don't want to do any of that and that's not your passion at all, and you'd actually prefer just to learn how to sell on Amazon because you just want to make some more money and have some more free time. Whatever it is, just get clear on it. Once you're clear on that, all you're going to do is start breaking it down into steps, okay? And the gift in all of this is that you can let everything else just go away then. And you don't even have to focus on anything else. And think of the time that you get to save when you no longer keep clicking on that YouTube advert or clicking on that Instagram reel that's going to teach you how to solve everything in minutes. Because it's just not the case, right? Whatever they say is going to solve this in minutes and, make you financially free, you're going to have to put some work in. It's like no overnight success happens in less than about 10 years. And the amount of women that I have seen in digital marketing over the years that you found out that they've spent the last 7 years in network marketing, or they've been selling beauty products for years on end, and then all of a sudden they step into digital marketing and it all takes off overnight. We're older and wiser than that. We're not going to fall for that. So whatever you're committing to, there are certain steps that are going to make this more successful and make it easier to commit. The first thing is you need to break it down. It's into kind of blocks, achievable chunks, shall we say. And then from those achievable chunks, you want to make it into micro steps. Now, all of those are really important, but what's more important than any of it is that you do it all from a place of relaxation, not do it from this place of scarcity mindset and I've just got to get it done. So I started a group and I help women to achieve this absolute, and I help women to achieve this process, and it's called the 21-day quest, and we're kind of partway through it right now. And people always start this quest with, if you're here, you'll probably know what I mean, that you're an overachiever, you get things done, you make things happen, you organize everything. And right now, that's why you can't understand and why you're so frustrated that things aren't working the way you want them to. Okay, so wind it back a bit. The people in the group started off this quest. One lady had done a big spreadsheet. Another lady says she feels like she's got the tabs open in her head all the time. These are really common. So the first thing that we did was slow it all down. Because when we slow it all down, that means that we can step into more of our feminine kind of feeling it rather than just like the checklist. Because that checklist, I tell you what, you can get really beaten up by your own checklists. So start by breathing, meditating, something like that. And then look at your quest title and look at the steps that you've given yourself and feel into which ones actually feel important to you. Because they're the ones that really matter. They're the ones that if you double down on, they're going to bring you excitement. They're not going to give you burnout. And then from there, you take small daily actions. But they can be tiny steps. And the reason you're taking these tiny steps is because it starts to build trust in yourself, and you start to build confidence, and you build a solid platform and build into momentum. Then the other thing that can be really useful is that you have some sort of accountability group or an accountability partner. And that was why I started the 21-day quest, was so that I could provide that accountability for a group of women who are brave enough to take this on and know that they want to stick with something and they need to do it in a different way than they've done it before because they weren't getting the results they wanted to. So have some sort of accountability, whether it's a partner or a group or, a friend, but make sure they're also trying to achieve something new. Because if you just expect a random friend to be your accountability partner, you're not really holding yourself accountable and you can't expect them to hold you accountable. So you need to find somebody who is also looking to achieve stuff and to grow. And that way you can do that together. Because friends that slay together, stay together. I don't know that that's the motto, but should we stick with it anyway? Okay, that was really cheesy. And then from there, you break down the steps of your quest and you just start taking tiny little steps. And the tiny little steps that you take are the ones that you can stick to and the ones that you feel like you're winning. And when you feel like you're winning, you're more likely to win. So you just keep taking those little steps forward. So at the end of the day, you look at your to-do list and you go, oh my goodness, I can tick those things off. I've done them, but I felt good doing them. And that's really what matters. If you can have that natural association and those neural pathways of saying every time I take a step forward, it feels good. And even if I get a challenge or a hiccup or whatever, that never outweighs how good you feel about doing what you're doing and why you're doing it. And you're achieving your purpose and you're finding more meaning by doing something that's really important to you. So if you're fed up with all the tabs being open in your head and you're spinning your wheels and you've got a to-do list as long as your leg, then there's Midlife Freedom Club. Come and join us. We'd love to have you. But if not, get clear on your quest. Start breaking it down. Make sure you feel really good about the steps you're taking and then move forward from there. Okay, yeah, let me know your thoughts and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.